Hello, everybody. I hope that you are having a wonderful day today. But once again, it is Tuesday, and that means it is story time with Teacher Cole. For those who don't know me, I am Teacher Cole and your host for today's story time. I am the owner of Teacher Cole's English Corner. You are welcome to join my Facebook group at any time. I'm also a private online English teacher. I specialize in unique and interesting, fantastical journeys through stories with English. But today, we are going to read a wonderful story called The Clumsy Crocodile. It's by Felicity Everett. And this is just a very interesting story about a crocodile and her first day on the job. Let's read the adventures of Miss Cassy today. The Clumsy Crocodile, written by Felicity Everett, part of the Usborne Young Reading Collection. Chapter 1, Everglades. Cassy Green was on her way to work. It was the very first day of her new job. She was going to work at Everglades, the biggest and best store in town. It sold things you just couldn't buy anywhere else. So, when Cassy got a job there, she was as pleased as punch. Toy department, China department, exotic pet department, robot department, luxury goods department, food hall. I wonder where Cassy will be working. First, Cassy was sent to work in the China department. After only 10 minutes, she had sold 60 cups and saucers to a very rich lady. She was doing well. Cassy packed the china carefully in a box. She was as gentle as a crocodile can be, but maybe just a little slow. The lady began to get impatient. Cassy quickly tied a big bow on the box. She didn't want the lady to be cross. Not her very first customer. But as Cassy picked up the box, disaster struck. Now be careful! She'd packed it upside down. 60 cups and saucers smashed onto the floor. The customer stamped her foot angrily and left. Oops. Next, Cassy was sent to the toy department. She hoped there was less to break. She didn't want any more accidents. I must put this ball away, she thought. Someone could trip over it and have a bad fall. But as she bent down, her tail swung out behind her. The Toy Town Express was knocked right off its rails. Poor Cassy. So, she was sent to the food hall. But there, things went from bad to worse. Oops. Cassy tripped over a stool. A bowl of salad flew into the air. and landed on Ernest Everglades' head. Ernest Everglade owned the department store. He was Cassie's boss, and he was not a happy man. "Go to my office," he yelled. "Now!" Trembling, Cassie obeyed. Chapter 2. A Cross Boss. Ernest Everglade was furious. He liked salad, but not on his head. "Go and don't ever come back," he told Cassie. "I don't want a clumsy crocodile in my store." Cassie begged and pleaded. She pleaded and begged. "Just give me one more chance. I'll be very careful," she promised. "I'll pay for anything I break." But Mr. Everglade was more interested in his newspaper. He wasn't even listening to Cassie. At last he looked up. "I don't have time for you," he sighed. "Some jewel thieves are in town. The famous Greedy Boys." Cassie gasped. Everyone had heard of the Greedy Boys. But she still wanted her job back. She began to cry. Now, Mr. Everglade couldn't stand crying. He would do anything to stop it. Okay, he said. "Go to the luxury goods department first thing Monday morning." "Oh, thank you." "You won't regret it. I promise." Chapter 3, Getting It Right. The next day was Sunday. Cassie worked hard at home, getting ready for Monday. She emptied her cupboards and stacked everything inside them. She stacked every pot, plate, cup, and saucer in the house. The stacks got wobblier and wobblier and higher and higher. Next, she found paper, scissors, ribbon, and tape. She wrapped everything she could get her hands on. Why are balls so round? When she finished wrapping, Cassie was exhausted. All she wanted to do was sit down. But when she looked for her comfiest chair, there was just one small problem. So she set up her mirror and served imaginary customers. "A flying pig? Try the pet department, sir." "I'm sorry, madame. We don't sell crocodile skin handbags." "You don't like your spotted socks, sir? I'll change them at once." And she smiled her toothy crocodile smile until her whole face ached. "Can I help you?" "Mr. Everglade will be proud of me." Finally, Cassie put on her Everglades badge and admired herself in the mirror. She looked perfect. Chapter 4, Cassie in Charge. On Monday morning, Cassie was the first to arrive in the luxury goods department. Only the security guard was there. He had been guarding the store during the night. The guard was finishing his breakfast. He was very pleased to see Cassy. Now he could go home to bed. I'll be off now. You're here. Cassy was nervous. She didn't want to be left alone in the store. Do you have to go? You'll be fine, said the guard. Just keep an eye on the Everglades emerald. Don't worry, you can count on me. The guard left. Cassy wasn't nervous anymore. She felt important. She was in charge. The Everglades emerald was the most expensive thing in the store. It was kept in a case of extra strong glass. Cassy thought it was the most beautiful jewel she had ever seen. But Cassy wasn't the only one admiring the emerald. Hiding behind a pot were Nigel and Rupert. The greedy boys! What a beauty, sighed Nigel. But look at that case, said Rupert. How will we ever break the glass? Never fear, Nigel whispered. And as Cassy wandered away from the emerald, Nigel took something from his pocket. Chapter 5, Disaster. Nigel held up a small whistle. My secret weapon, he said. It can't be heard by humans, but it can. He put the whistle to his lips and blew. The case exploded. Shatter glass, he finished. He grinned. The Everglades emerald was theirs for the taking. At last, gasped Rupert. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Nigel and Rupert sneaked out from their hiding place. Their eyes glittered with greed. Now, to collect our prize, said Nigel, we'll be the richest men in the world. The thieves crept closer to the emerald, but Nigel had made a big mistake. He was right about humans not being able to hear his whistle. What he didn't know was that animals could hear it. Hey, thought Cassy, the Toy Town Express. She spun around, ready to race to the toy department, forgetting her tail, which swung around too. This time it hooked a priceless pearl necklace. Cassy tugged her tail. Oops! The necklace snapped. Pearls went everywhere, and Cassy went flying. Ah! Ow! So did the greedy boys. The rolling pearls sent them skidding to the floor. They tumbled to the ground, bringing the Everglades emerald with them. Cassy turned to see the greedy boys lying in a heap. Oh no, customers, she cried, and rushed over to help them up. Please let me help you. I'm so sorry. Rupert was groaning in agony. Nigel still had his eye on the emerald. He wouldn't let a clumsy crocodile ruin his plans. He'd waited years to steal this giant gem. I'm black and blue all over. It can still be mine. It has to be. Oops! In her hurry to help, Cassy tripped. She slid across the floor, her arms thrust out, and collided nose first with a table. A table which held Everglades, ancient treasures. The table wobbled. The treasures wobbled. Then they crashed to the floor. Cassy got up. She was horrified. What had she done? One of the ancient pots had toppled off the table, straight onto her customers' heads. So close, I can almost touch it. What's going on in here? At that moment, the boss walked in. Cassy started to explain, but Mr. Everglade wasn't listening. My tail, it got I slipped. He had just seen the Everglades emerald lying on the floor. What's that doing there? Then he saw the pot and the legs and the bag lying next to them, and he quickly put 2 and 2 together. He was no longer a cross boss. He was a very pleased and excited boss. He picked up the emerald and beamed at Cassy. Well done! You've saved the Everglades emerald. Cassy was puzzled. Mr. Everglade pointed to the pot. And you've caught the greedy boys, he added. Oh, so I have, said Cassy. Chapter 6, Cassy the Hero. That afternoon, the boss gave a party for Cassy. The whole town was invited, except for the greedy boys. Nigel and Rupert were both safely behind bars. It was the best party ever. There was singing and dancing, cake and ice cream, and fantastic fizzing fireworks. Then Cassy was given a medal. It was the proudest moment of her life. She was a hero. Congratulations, Cassy. After the party, Mr. Everglades smiled at Cassy. I've got a new job for you, he said. He didn't want Cassy to be an assistant anymore. What a crock! This will make the front page. Over here, Cassy! Instead, she became Everglades' chief taster and tester, with her tail tucked firmly beneath her. So, what did you think of today's story? What did you think of Cassy? Was Cassy a good employee? I don't know. Would you have been brave and caught the thieves yourself? Who knows? I hope you enjoyed today's fun and entertaining story. Like a lesson, right? Once again, my name is Teacher Cole. This has been Story Time with Teacher Cole, and I will see you next Tuesday for a brand new and exciting story. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Goodbye.